Coming up next, we have the JapanCast mailbag. All right, this week we have a few emails here. First up is from Heather. She says, I've just started teaching myself Japanese and in the early phases, so this may be a stupid question. There's no stupid questions. I am getting very confused with the silent U at the end of certain words. How can I tell when they need to be silent, or am I just missing something? So this is one I'm going to tackle because native speakers don't even notice this. And I think a lot of teachers will teach you, when you're learning like des, mas, they just will say, well, just pronounce it D-E-S. But if you watch Japanese people speaking, they are saying the U. You'll see their mouth make a U sound, but they're not saying it loudly. But they'll say des, mas. It's that on the end. Now, you'll hear people, if they want to emphasize it, they will say it. Because I've heard people say onegai shimasu and onegai shimasu. Just depends on the situation and the person. But it's always there. It just depends on the person. It's never cut off, though, at like the beginning of a word. You're never going to shorten it or cut it at the beginning of any word. But in the middle or end, a lot of times it's less. But now I can't think of it. I'm sorry. I'll think of it for another episode. But you just used a word. There's other endings where things get cut off a little bit. So it's not just the oo sound that gets cut off, but it's just how we speak. When you speak English, words run into each other all the time. We were talking about the word legitimate.
That's hard.
It's written different than I would pronounce it. I say legitimate, but I'm saying a D sound. I'm saying legitimate. That's not how it's spelled at all. So it has to do with pronunciation and fluency and things like that. But just know that when they're saying des or mas, look at their mouth because they are saying desu.
So?
Yeah.
Desu, masu.
Yeah.
Do you hear a sound? Des, mas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the end, you must.
Des, mas.
There's a at the end.
Hitomi desu. Ikimasu.
So just like there, but that's a tough one, and I wouldn't worry about it too much myself. It's just part of learning. I would work more on learning phrases as fast as you can, and then once you have a certain set of phrases, learn words that you can plug into those phrases to build up your ability to speak. So anyway, Corey asks, I was wondering, what are some classic stories or fables Japanese children are told? I've looked online, but probably phrasing it wrong. You know, the kind of story every Japanese child would know, like every American knows about Goldilocks and the Three Bears, or Humpty Dumpty, or a Velveteen Rabbit, things like that. Any kind of children's fable that most children grow up with and love.
We have, let's see, Momotaro. And then we have なんだっけ、一寸法師。
Okay.
一寸法師。And we have かぐや姫。Yeah, かぐや姫。Those are three big ones.
Big ones? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you search for those, you probably have much
Everybody
better.
knows these three.
If you live in or are visiting a bigger city and you can find, I think no book office in New York. I don't know if there's one anywhere else.
Kinokuniya in big cities.
And then also, what's the grocery store that they have bookshop in it?
Mitsuwa?
Mitsuwa.
If you live in America,
Chicago.
near big city.
There's probably one in New York, Los Angeles.
New Jersey, I think they have
Okay.
Mitsuwa. I think.
So those are three that you could look for. Those are traditional Japanese stories. All right. Finally, Troy emailed us some questions about dating Japanese girls. And some questions he had were more general, some were more specific. Just picked out two questions. First is the general one, and that's do Japanese girls tend to expect the man to take control and make all the decisions?
Some of them do, probably.
Some
that
do.
Well, yeah. It depends.
On the person.
Mm.
We were talking before the show. I have my sort of opinion on this, and that is that because he had a friend who told him that's what Japanese girls expect. And I do think, yes, some girls maybe do want a guy to say, this is where we're going to go out to eat, and we're going to go see this movie, and we're going to go on Friday or whatever. But I also think there are a lot of girls, and Japanese people in general, who they don't want to offend you, and they don't want to get into an argument. They don't want to cause any kind of stressful situations. So instead of just like an American girl would just say to you, I'm not going out with you on Friday. Japanese girl might say, well, I'm busy that night, maybe some other time. American girls will do this too, but a lot of American girls will just say, no.
But when the girls say, Friday, no, but maybe some other time, it means no or yes. No, right?
Yeah,
See,
a lot of times
it's
guys
a
will be
universal
persistent.
thing, I think.
But I think Japanese people, though, in general, try to avoid conflict and try to keep the situation more calm and will not want to just hit the problem head on and say, no, I don't really want to. So, yeah, I think a lot of guys can get into trouble with Japanese girls because they'll seem very friendly, very interested.
Smiley.
Yeah, very happy to talk to you,
Yeah.
and a lot of times it's not what Western
You guys think. Right?
So,
Yeah, we in general, we're very smiley.
yeah, very happy, very smiley, and I think American or Western guys tend to misinterpret that as I'm interested in you. And we've had other listeners write about situations like that where they thought the girl was very interested and it was just the girl was being polite. So the second question is a little more specific. So it's not going to apply to a lot of people. It has to do with dating a celebrity. And he wanted to know if it's typical for a girl who might be well-known celebrity of some sort to bring a chaperone, and in this case it was a manager, along on a date. So I have my own
Go ahead.
view, but what do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, my view is not necessarily from Japanese, but it's because of the industry I work in, I do sometimes get to talk and work with celebrities. Minor, mostly.
Like around here.
But, I do. And I think a lot of times with those people, they're very much on guard because everybody wants something. Nobody's ever interested in them for who they are. They're interested in them for what they can get. They want to introduce them to their friend who's a great actor. They want to get them to sign on with their screenplay for this movie. They want to get them to invest in this new business they have. They're constantly having people come after them because they want something. And they're always on guard because people try to rip these people off. Just because somebody's a celebrity doesn't necessarily mean they're smart or good at business.
Right.
They get ripped off all the time. So part of it is that they're going to be on guard for, you're open to meeting with people. You might be interested in this person for a relationship, or you might think, hey, this person's connected. Maybe it's good for my business or whatever. But you're going to be on guard and be very careful. That's been my experience with various and sundry
そうかもね。
C and D list celebrities.
いや、そう、
Like,
そうかもね。
what do you think, though, if it's a Japanese celebrity?
Really have no idea. But yeah, as a girl, not necessarily celebrity. As a one girl, if I don't feel safe comfortable meeting, alone, then I'll bring somebody
Right.
along.
That's the other thing with a celebrity. You don't know if this is a stalker who's gone to every show, if this is like somebody who does theater or musical or whatever. That happens.
But the fact that if you already got to go out,
Right.
so I think she's interested in some degree.
Some level, yeah.
So if she feels comfortable, then maybe second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, I don't know. She probably come
Without a manager.
she would come with a manager.
That would probably be the point where you would be able to realize this is
Right.
a personal, not a business thing.
Right. She's really interested
Right.
or not.
If the manager kept coming along, it could
Then
just be
probably not.
there's maybe a career opportunity she sees.
Or
So
yeah.
I that's definitely an interesting. First time we've ever had anybody ask something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely cool to get to go out on a date with a celebrity.
Even with manager, with
So, all right. Oh, we're gonna run out of time here. So let me stop this and we'll restart it because we can only do 12 minutes at a time on the camera. So
okay.
we'll be back in 1 second. All right, so that was our viewer questions this week. And of course, one of the best ways to learn Japanese, speaking of dating Japanese girls, is to find yourself a Japanese girl to be a pen pal with. And we, of course, have friends.japancast.net. So we have a girl for you guys to check out this week. Her name is Misaki. She's 18 years old and she lives in Yokohama. She's looking for a pen pal, and this is what she wrote.
Hi, my name is Misaki. I am a Japanese high school student. I am of a cheerful disposition. I have been studying English. I'm interested in learning foreign languages and cultures. I want to make many friends. My favorite singers are Aiko Yuki, Miley Cyrus, Rihanna, Keisha. Of course, I like J-pop, manga. My favorite manga is Naruto. Anime and Japanese drama so much. I can talk about them with you. Feel free to send to me.
Great. So, right there, if you're 18 to 22, I think is what she was interested in looking for, and looking for a pen pal, you want to practice. As you could hear, her English was not perfect, her writing, so there's no reason for you to be nervous about
writing in Japanese. Exactly.
It's a great way. You can sign up for a free account. It's friends.japancast.net, so check that out. We absolutely love getting your questions and comments. Keep them coming. Send them to hitomi@japancast.net, and we'll try to answer them on a future show.
Right.
I think that's all we have. All right. So we'll see you next time.
はい、じゃあまたね。